we see?
Yeah, I think, well, the main objectives in spring are, obviously get the defensive system put in. We got a lot of new guys. We got a lot of returning guys, but we also got a lot of new guys, so create a sense of competition. There's a depth chart, but it's more of a seating chart, and it's written in sand right now. So developing the sense of competition, get some guys playing, see where not only, it's getting the right guys on the bus, but also getting them in the right seats. There's going to be some of these new guys that have come in. We've got to find a package for them, even if they're not the full-time starter. And then it still comes down to who can get off blocks, who can tackle, and who can cover. So we got to keep progressing in the system, but keep things simple enough where we can find out who can really play football as well.
What went through your head when Danielson told you he got Cutter?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. Having coach around during the year, in a limited capacity, but, still being able to come to some practices and help the team. The past year, getting to know him a little bit, seeing how much knowledge he has, how savvy he is as a coach, and then having him around through the interview process, it's pretty clear that, to get a guy with his experience, to get a guy like Coach Cutter that's been here was a home run hire, and I was fired up to be able to work with him, and it's been great just to be able to script against him, with him, and those kind of things, and get some of his take on things as well. So it's been awesome.
Coach, what are your plans for this defense? Any major tweaks in terms of the scheme? Are you still looking at three guys across the front, an edge, a couple of linebackers, a nickel, and some secondary guys?
No, I think, obviously at the end of last year, we were able to be pretty multiple up front, keeping the same personnel on the field, then expanding into the dime package that was pretty successful towards the end of last season. So building on both those things, getting the guys some new things, some new coverages, some new pressures up front on passing downs, third downs, and then being able to stop the run with a few different calls, and nothing crazy, but just a few change-ups, just so the pitcher's not always the same up front, and the pitcher changes a little bit for the quarterback in the back end.
You got essentially four safeties with Benefield for kind of three spots. How's that going to, is it just going to work itself out? What's the plan there?
Yeah, it's going to work itself out. I mean, that's why competition's great. And let's be honest, you need more than one guy at every position anyways. And last year at times we weren't able to rotate as much as you probably need to, especially playing some fast-paced offenses. So we're going to have to develop depth at every position so we can get some more guys in the football game. And then speaking back on the dime package, last year we were able to have four quote-unquote safeties in the game. One was playing nickel, one was playing dime, one was playing field safety, one was playing boundary safety. But like I said, that was a great package for us, and to be able to expand on that, I think is going to help the football team.
Many years ago, a guy like Kamale Correa, he had like 14.5 sacks as a sophomore, and that number dipped to 5.5 his junior year because everybody this time of year was figuring out a way to, stop 8. So as it pertains to a guy like Ahmed, who really burst onto the scene last year, how do you prepare him for something like that? Whether it be designing something to get him, one-on-one still, or just mentally preparing him for saying, maybe the production won't be quite as significant because you're getting so much friggin' attention now.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to go into it and say your production's not going to be significant.
No, that's a bad choice of words there, but
no, but
what I mean.
No, it's a good point though. In we've got to find a way to not only progress his technique and fundamentals, but also, we've got to be able to scheme up some ways to get him not necessarily a free sack, because I don't think that happens in football, but to get him a way to get a one-on-one pass rush. And maybe that's, moving him around a little bit in the front. Maybe that's, getting into some different fronts where we can make sure to get him a one-on-one. But, that's part of our job, to get him in position to be successful. And then we've got to also develop his technique and fundamentals so when he gets in those positions, he can be successful. And, to be honest with you, once he gets to the quarterback, we told the whole group we left a lot of sacks on the table, not just Ahmed, but other guys up front. Just combined, we left a lot out there just because we didn't do a good job once we get to the quarterback, and that's on me. So that's something else we got to progress to as a defensive front.
He's kind of known as being a little green just because he hadn't been playing the game for that long. So what will be required of him, I guess, once you start trying to maybe move him around and ask him to do different things?
Yeah, he's just going to have to, he's going to have to be in here with us, and he's going to have to study football, and he's going to have to the playbook is the playbook, and Ahmed's a smart guy, so that won't be an issue. But it's going to have to be studying more than one offensive lineman, studying where they're going to slide the protection, those kind of things. But the good thing about Ahmed is right now, what you see out of him is his willingness to want to do those things. He understands that he's going to have to do he's going to be asked to do some other things this year. And the other great thing about him right now is he's done a great job in coaching up those young guys that are in the program. So he's starting to expand his knowledge base, and he's starting to pass that on to young guys, which is usually the sign that a player is understanding things.
Expectations, Andrew Simpson this spring, and just what type of player you expect him to come into be?
Yeah, and just like Ahmed, right? Like people know who Andrew is now. You know, it's not a secret. He's a good football player. He's a twitchy football player. The thing that we have to understand with these guys is what can they do and what can they do the best, and how can we get them in those positions more often. The things that from Andrew, I'd like to see a little more leadership. He's becoming an older guy. He's becoming a guy that's touted on the football field, but can he help us off the field? So I'd like to see his role in the leadership department step up a little bit. And then once again, his knowledge of the system, his knowledge of football needs to be increased. It's not just line up and play anymore. It's, can you direct the traffic? Can you be the guy out there that's telling everybody what's going on?
You expect Marco 100% this spring, or is he limited?
I don't think he'll be 100% no this spring, but I expect him to be 100% in the season, so that's a good thing.
He'll get some work in?
Yeah, yep, he'll get some work this spring.
All right. Thank you all.
All right, thank you guys.